Hello, everyone, and welcome to Southern League Cavalier Football and the Mike McClure Coaches Show. I'm Mike Fowler, and I'll be your host as we talk Cavalier football and visit with Cavalier coach Mike McClure. I want to thank our sponsors for helping bring you our show each Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. on 105.5 FM WFJA. Wilkinson Chevrolet, Sheriff Tracy Carter, M.R. Stoner Electric, Domino's, Carolina Firearms, and the Kendale Pawn Shop. The show will also be rebroadcast at 5:30 each Friday night prior to our 6:30 kickoff on 95.1 FM and 1050 AM WWGP. Video of our coaches show will be posted on the WFJA Facebook page each Wednesday by noon. I look forward to talking with Cavalier coach Mike McClure tonight and bringing you exciting Southern League Cavalier football. We're going to take a short break and hear from our great sponsors. We'll be right back with Coach Mike McClure right after these messages.
Hi, everyone. I'm John Hockaday with Sandhills Broadcasting, and I thank you for tuning in to our coaches shows on WFJA Sports. It is our goal to bring you our coaches shows without commercials and with limited interruption, but we couldn't do it without our wonderful sponsors. We'd like to thank Wilkinson Chevrolet, Domino's, M.R. Stoner, Sheriff Tracy Carter, Carolina Firearms Training and Gun Store, and Kendale Pawn Shop. We thank these sponsors for bringing you our show. We thank you for watching our Coaches Show videos. Now back to the show. We hope you enjoy.
Welcome back to the Coach Mike McClure Coaches Show. We want to thank WFJA and all of our sponsors for bringing you the show tonight. And again, we're in our protective booth here with the plexiglass between the two of us, and it's been fun doing this each and every week. Coach McClure, thanks for coming in again. Appreciate your time.
No problem. Thank you all for having me each and every week. I really appreciate it.
No problem. So it's coming off again a tough loss for the Cavs. We went down to Harness Central last Friday, and game started off pretty close. Both teams were filling out each other, and then the game just kind of got away from us as it went forward.
Yeah, like you said, we didn't help ourselves out any playing a little too many snaps defensively and getting the ball within the red zone and couldn't score offensively. It just doesn't balance out well, especially when you have guys going both ways. Eventually you're gonna be tired, so you got to get off the field defensively, and you got to be able to score and then be efficient offensively at least. When you have those guys going both ways, I felt like we played well. It was some times where we played well, and then there's other times where we struggled, and it showed that we struggled at those times. Like you said, each week, man, we're in the position. It's nothing really that the other team has really done to us. It's just all self destruction. It's us getting in our own way, and hopefully, we'll be able to turn that corner and get out of our way and start, making some progress toward in the right direction of not being as self destructive as we've been.
Yeah, one of the things you mentioned, starting off the game, the Cavs went right down the field and had a great opportunity to get it in there, and then a couple penalties that backed us up, and Daniel missed the long field goal attempt. But again, there were some bright spots in the game moving forward. I know we had the penalties hurt at bad times of the game.
Yeah.
The run by Kendall Morris where he went down the sideline was a great run, and that came back because of the penalty. But then again, they just you guys still held strong and were able to work it down, and he ran it in from, I think it was 22 yards out to give us the score we had on the night.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that was just penalties. Penalties haven't been a big issue for us this year. I can say that
Right.
we have been pretty clean on penalty wise. Besides some offside penalties and face mask penalties defensively, big penalties like that. But for the most part, offensively, we've been okay penalty. Besides a hold here and there.
Right.
But like you said, it just come at the wrong time. It comes at a penalty knocks us out of the field goal range on the opening drive, and then we go down and that's a different score. We're 3-0. And ready to play again, and so it just comes at the wrong time for us.
Yeah, and this past week too was tough with the turnover aspect of it. I think
Yeah.
we had 5 turnovers on Friday, and that doesn't help either.
It doesn't. It doesn't, especially not with if you got guys like I said going both ways, and you putting a guy out there defensively 3 and out. By the time they get a drink of water and not even have time to sit on the bench, it's time to come back out there and play again. And eventually it wears it down. The Harness Central was a pretty big team. They had size on us. and eventually pounding the ball the way that they done, or in the way that they do like to do in the inside, it just eventually took a toll on us. And that's why they were able to break out some big runs and some longer runs and those type of things.
Yeah, especially as you mentioned in the second half, especially as the kids get a little tired. Hopefully, everybody's going to come back this week and get ready for the big game this Friday, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So there were obviously there were some highlights and good spots in that game the other night. There was some good play by some defensive spots that were in there, some good hits. We had a couple turnovers that we got on their side, and we'll talk about one of our players of the game. But in regards to that, Reggie Butler had a great interception in that game, and some good run backs on special teams. So I know there's always things you look for in a game that's positive, and I'm sure you were able to take at least some of those out of that.
Yeah, we extremely well proud of the way that we done on our kickoff return team, special team wise, and the turnovers that we were able to get. They did come at crucial times because when we get those turnovers, it's still at the 18-0.
Yeah.
And we still have a shot. We're still very much in that game at that time, and like I said, we just stalled out with getting the turnover.
Right, exactly. So we'll move on to this week's game after the break. But first, we started something a couple weeks ago about Meet the Cavs. And tonight we wanted to go ahead, since this will be the last regular season game for the Cavaliers and the seniors. We want to recognize the senior class this year. Daniel Pisano, of course, quarterback kicker. Elijah Barrett, defensive lineman. Elijah Donaldson, cornerback. Ethan Stallings, a center. Jalen Stacker, a cornerback. Joseph Graham, who plays both ways, offensive line, defensive line. Nick Parker, a defensive end, and also we have Wes Kidd on the. He was a senior this year, was unable to play this season, but he was at every game. And some of these seniors have been here for several years with the team. So obviously, make a big thing for your impact in your first year. I know you're going to spend a lot of time with them, but I'm sure they make a good thing for this program going forward.
Yeah. Each of them contributed in their own way. They all came out, and done what they could to help, with the wins that we did have, and even with some of the losses, they still made a contribution and they still were very much involved in the program, and we just appreciate those guys and everything that they have done for us.
Yeah, that's great. We wish them well on their next endeavors after they leave Southern Lee. So really quickly, just some results in the Tri-County Conference from last week. Lee County played last Thursday night. It was 54-6. Over Western Harnett. Harnett Central took down the Cavaliers. We talked about 52-7, and Triton with a big win at Union Pines, 60-27. And those were the games last week in the conference. This week, it's going to be Lee County at Southern Lee, of course. We'll talk about that in a minute. Union Pines at Western Harnett, and Harnett Central at Triton. Those are your games this week in the Tri-County Conference. We're going to go and take another time out and hear from our sponsors. We'll be back right after these messages.
Coach's Show sponsors: Wilkinson Chevrolet in their new location on Highway 87 South. Domino's with convenient locations throughout the Lee County area. M.R. Stoner Electric, residential, industrial, and commercial electricians. Sheriff Tracy Carter, proud to support high school athletics. Carolina Firearms, your full-service firearms training and gun store. Kendall Pawn Shop, buy, sell, trade. Brick Capital Video, for all special occasions. WFJA for all your sports, FM 105.5.
Welcome back to the Coach Mike McClure Show. We thank you for joining us tonight on 105.5 FM WFJA. And, of course, we rebroadcast this before this Friday night's game, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. But it's that time, which we do every single week. It's time for us to pick the Norman Financial Group and WWGP. Announce those anyway. We picked those last week. Zach and I did in the radio booth. So this week on the offensive side, we went with junior Christian Matthews, and he plays a lot of defense as well, but he's been really a key for us on kickoff returns. He had a couple great returns the other night, and one was, I think, over like 40, almost 40 yards plus on the return, and he's done a really good job each week on the kickoff return.
He has. We missed him 1 week due to an injury, so it definitely was good to get him back into the mix and into the rotation of things. Of playing and being our deep guy on the return on special teams, and even having him on the back end on playing free safety. He came up and made some great open field tackles for us that if guys get past him, then they're pretty much gone and they score again. So he done a great job. And offensively, he plays a little running back as well, and like I said, just a great job special team wise and defensively. So,
Yeah, there was one play where actually he was in the backfield, and their big back that was gaining a lot of yards on us Friday came up towards, got in the secondary. He stood him
yeah,
up.
he did. He stood
Yeah.
him up. He tried to almost slam him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Christian is only about 120 pounds, so
Yes.
he's not afraid of anything.
No, it
That's
was a
what
great
makes him-
play.
That's what makes him a great player.
Yeah, it was a great play. So congratulations to Christian as our offensive player of the game. And the defensive side of the ball, and we had a few guys we could have picked from, but we had to go with the freshman Reggie Butler, who had a key interception in that game to kind of halt a drive by Harnett Central and played some good defensive back. He leads the team in interceptions with 2. And as a freshman, he's obviously not just gaining the experience being varsity, but he's be a main contributor on this defense.
He has, and the best thing about Reggie is only in his second year of playing football ever. And looking at him, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know that he's a young guy, because he carries himself. He's very coachable. The way he approaches the game, and he listens, and he does exactly what you ask him to do. He has good eyes back there in the defensive backfield. Reading the receivers and reading the keys and those type of things and doing what he's supposed to do. And I had to go apologize to him Friday night because I thought he didn't do what he was supposed to, but he actually done what he was supposed to because he had the flat. In cover 2, he had the flat, and I got mad at him because he didn't keep sinking. But he was actually right because he did get a threat to the flat. So, I had to go apologize to him on Monday when I went back and watched the film and everything. But he's a great kid, and the future is very bright for him with these next 3 years.
Looking forward to it. So now it's time for the Wilkinson Chevrolet and Coach Mike McClure Player of the Game. And, Coach, I'll let you introduce who you picked this week.
All right, overall player of the game, we went with Brock Chappell. Reason being, Brock plays offense and defense. He rarely comes off the field, and he's our long snapper as well. He had a great game defensively. He had 8 tackles defensively. One of the tackles was for a loss. He's a long snapper, which is a great responsibility because we punt it sometimes from within our end zone. And, all it takes is one bad snap, and we give up another touchdown or we give up a safety or something. Yeah. So, he handled that well. And then also he came back and he had one catch offensively and some good blocks on the perimeter for us. So that's why we decided to go with Brock.
Good. Congratulations to Brock Chappell. And his name will be engraved in this beautiful trophy here as the other Wilkinson Chevrolet and Coach McClure players of the game this season. And again, it'll go into the Southern League trophy case at the conclusion of this season. So, Coach, now this week we got the annual Brick City Bowl with Lee County coming across town. Obviously, they've had great success. They're 6-0 this year. They actually just took down Triton 52-7 last night to earn the Tri-County Championship. We've got a good history with them, though. This is going to be the 14th time that these two schools have faced each other. And right now, Lee County leads the series 8-5, but there's a good thing here. They've won the last 3, but prior to that, Southern Lee won the previous 3. So now it's time to start a new trend.
Yeah. So now it's our time to get back on the 3, on the side of the 3, and take it down for the next 3 years and even more. But, there's a great football team, well-coached football team. We know they got athletes everywhere. They know they're going to come blitz. They're going to blitz. They're not going to sit back, and then they're going to just do what they do offensively as well. Just as far as us, our whole thought process going into this game is let's focus on us. That's the approach that we take. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, we've been self-destructive. And a lot of that is spending times on what other teams are doing and game planning for other teams. But, we just wanted to sit back and reflect on us and getting us better and looking at what has been our downfalls throughout this season.
Right.
And that's just kind of what we've been taking into this week and also just compete. We want to compete, and we're coming in this game with a chip on our shoulder because nobody's giving us a shot at winning this game. Let's just be honest about that. And so, and we're the underdog, so we want to approach this game from the standpoint that we plan on trying to be spoilers for them this week.
No, that's a great approach to it. I think I didn't get a chance to go back and look, but I know they've won like 19 straight Tri-County Conference games, and I think the last loss might have been to Southern League. Yeah. So that'd be a good thing to do. Now, anybody out or injured? How everybody come back?
Yeah, we had a few guys banged up from last week's game. Two out with a concussion, and then one hurt his hand pretty bad, and I don't think he's going to be able to go on and play.
Okay.
So unfortunately, that's unfortunate for us. But as I keep telling guys, next man up. Next
Right.
guy up. That's why you never know when your number's going to be called. You got to be prepared at all times and ready to go.
No, exactly right. So we want to encourage everyone to come out to Cavalier Stadium this week and need all the possible fans that we can have in the stadium. Would be a good thing to go forward. And what are some other things other you're going to try and focus on, in this game to come up and have a strong showing? I guess.
Still trying to figure out what can we do offensively. That's our go-to. Mm-hmm. What is our identity offensively? Mm-hmm. What is our go-to plays? What are our go-to scheme-wise? What can we do? And the biggest thing, like I said, is we want to get momentum going into this offseason. It's a very quick turnaround time before from the end of this game into the getting preparation and getting ready for the fall season. So having momentum and identity offensively and defensively going into that period is big for our younger guys who are set to return.
Yeah, that's a good point. I remember back years ago when I played, going into our last game, we didn't had a winning record at the time, and I remember there was a thing that they shared with us that Vince Lombardi had wrote, and it was talking about it's not winning every game, but winning the last game, and that's a key thing. That's what you remember, and we were able to do that. So hopefully the Cavs will come out strong, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure you'll have them ready to go, because that's one that we've seen in the booth throughout each of your team doesn't quit. These guys go till their whistles at the end, and whether win or lose, they've really been playing well.
They have.
So okay, we're going to go and take another timeout. We'll be back after these messages from our great sponsors. We'll talk a little bit about, again, remind you of this game this Friday night, and we'll take these messages right now from our sponsors.
I hope you are enjoying the Coaches Show videos on WFJA Sports. We again would like to thank our sponsors for bringing you our shows. Wilkinson Chevrolet, Domino's, M.R. Stoner Electric, Sheriff Tracy Carter, Carolina Firearms Training and Gun Store, and Kendall Pawn Shop. We now send you back to the show. We thank you for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed.
Welcome back, and we hope you've enjoyed listening to the Mike McClure Coaches Show. Coach, can't thank you again for coming in each week, taking your time, and sharing your thoughts about Cavalier football with us. And look forward to this Friday night, and look forward to the fall season and going from there.
Yes, sir. Thank you all. It's been fun these 6 weeks. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, thank you again. It's been great. We remind you to join us each Tuesday at 7:30, and every Friday night prior to the games at 5:30 p.m. on 95.1 FM and 1050 AM WWGP. Our Coaches Show is also posted on the WFJA website and Facebook page each Wednesday by noon, and we are glad you've taken these opportunities to join us this season for Cavalier football. Good luck to the Cavaliers this week as they return home to Cavalier Stadium and take on the Lee County Yellow Jackets in the annual Brick City Bowl Classic. We encourage all fans to come out. You can. The ticket information's online, and please come out and support these Cavaliers, and especially these seniors on senior night. They'll be recognizing all the seniors from the Cavalier football team as well as some other sports that have been going on these last few weeks. So look forward to seeing everybody there. We thank all of our sponsors for bringing you our show tonight. Wilkinson Chevrolet, Domino's, M.R. Stoner Electric, Sheriff Tracy Carter, Carolina Firearms, and the Kendall Pawn Shop. And we thank you for listening to WFJA and WWGP Sports. Good night, everyone. Go Cavs. I guess we're done.